one of the interesting things about the research for that book is that in the course of the time it took me to write it, which is from 2002, I guess, up until 2008, is that the whole method of research changed. At the beginning of that period, I was very hard-pressed to find some of the 18th century books I wanted to read. And now, of course, by the last year or two, everything was online. I could access it all for free. Any of these 18th century novels that I ended up completely loving, that I had never heard of at the beginning of the process and would have been very hard to find in a library, it was great. I just went to Project Gutenberg or something, and there they were. And I could be up in rural Maine writing. And as long as I had an internet connection, suddenly, you know, I could get any book that I wanted to from that period immediately and for free within a few seconds. And that's really kind of extraordinary. I mean, all kinds of research skills which we previously needed have to some extent fallen by the wayside. And of course, I would add that the danger of that is that we end up trusting too much in an internet which will definitely fail us. You know, because I will also say that I found many, many historical sites about the revolution where I found egregious errors. And who knows, they could have been posted by a 13-year-old, a crazy 60-year-old, a 45-year-old with an axe to grind and he's never left his basement. All of those sources look equally reliable at first on the internet. And so that's, of course, the drawback to that kind of research. And that is why still, I think that printed books with their feeling of accountability, there still is that kind of force behind them. I will add, however, that when I looked at children's books about, for example, the revolution or what it was like to be alive in colonial times, I found horrible errors in books occasionally. And in fact, I sent one of them to a historian who was helping me with this, and he did a bunch of blog posts on this children's book and all of the egregious errors it had made in talking about the colonial period. So we should remember that, you know, even as we fear the oncoming, you know, tide of the internet, at the same time, the print medium is not flawless either. So I think that it's very important for both adults and children to be more critical readers, because I certainly was led astray by a bunch of stuff and had to kind of unwork preconceptions I'd had after having read something either online or in a book that turned out not to be true.